Recording in progress.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please stand. And moment of silence. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any changes or revisions to regular or consent agenda? I would like to remove item 7G. Item 7G.
And I was going to add a consideration for the new Toshiba leases, so if we can replace that item G with that, that would be great.
So we're removing item G and replacing it with the Toshiba lease. Anything else? I have a motion and a second to approve.
I'll second.
We made the motion to approve the regular and consent agendas as amended. Lee seconded it. All those in favor? Now we have some kind of pretty exciting recognition.
We do. I believe there is Mr. McHugh. Do you have someone to introduce to us tonight?
I'd like to introduce Kayla Pierce. Kayla will be coming to us to teach kindergarten this year. We're very excited to have her on board.
Awesome. Welcome.
Thank you.
And I have some exciting news for us as well. First, I would like to welcome to us Jack Heath. He is going to be our new Fillmore principal. He has gone through the gauntlet, and he is the winner. So we welcome you, welcome your family, and just looking for some great things that's coming from you and from Fillmore. So thanks for showing up tonight, and looking for some great things.
Would you introduce your family to us, please?
Sure. This is my wife, Regine Heath,
Hi. Hi, Kevin
and
here.
then my daughter, Raina Heath. They're all Heaths, by the way.
Okay.
Shaylee Heath and Thaddeus Heath. And then I have Liliana Heath, who's on her way to Georgia to play softball. So she can't be here tonight.
Well, welcome to all of you. We're glad to have you.
And then another exciting introduction tonight is Cameron Hill, who is the new, we already got to put to work, look at this. Cameron Hill should be my new executive secretary and also board secretary and the state reports manager. So we welcome her and looking for a great fit there. And she's already off and running. So
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, financial update.
yeah, in your board packets, you received the latest financial reports through the end of the month of May of 25. That included all the claim dockets, the payrolls, the cash flows, the transfers, and the fund reports. As reflected in those reports, we do continue to perform as we have forecasted, which is a good thing, and continue to work on those as we move forward through the rest of the year. But the first half of the year is looking great.
Item C, legislative update. Wade?
I sent you guys a link today to what the state puts out, an annual legislative guidance of the laws that are going to take effect on July 1st. So maybe look over that. Also send a copy of some of the changes that are made to the executive sessions and a couple of new amendments to when we can have them in reason. So look over that for your perusal. Thank you.
I attended the legislative updates on, well, the law seminar last Friday, and so I've sent you the link to all the slide presentations that were there. But overall, the first one you come to is civil rights and how that's sort of migrating from the federal level down to the local level. And then there was a session on immigration, and they focused on the effects of that, or what's going on with immigration with our schools and our students and the effects there, because that's what we're dealing with for some corporations. And then there was one on special ed. So they kind of compared and contrasted the IDEA, Section 504, and the ADA, and how that is relating to schools right now. There was a session on school reorganization, which kind of didn't really affect us, but they did mention that the legislature can choose to reorganize by consolidating. So the presenter just sort of shared what that would look like for those school corporations that that's happening to. You can do it by choice as well, but the legislatures can come in and do that. Then there was a session on challenges facing schools in implementing the new education mandates, and how that's kind of started at the federal level, and then Governor Braun is kind of doing the same kinds of things here, which is basically putting it all back down at the local level. And then, let's see. Then there were some additions to the existing laws. So there's a thing on Senate Bill 143 about parental rights. There were some additions to that bill. And then there was Senate Bill 289, which is titled Sealing of Red Flag Records. But anyway, it's what they've added to those two bills. And then the last one was just various cases. So it was the recent legal and legislative developments as it's playing out in the courts with different cases. Right. Yeah, you can read through all that. You can read the cliff notes.
We can talk later, but I was interested in they define on the consolidation thing what some of those gates are and how to avoid or navigate those if the time comes.
The big thing that you have to start with is what was it? The letter of organization, like your first document when the school corporation was set up, and most schools didn't have any idea even where that was. So,
I'm sure it's in a basement someplace.
Sure it is.
it's in a Velveeta box.
Never know.
Okay. All right, and we're going to skip.
We're ready for the project update.
Project. Oh, sorry, I skipped that. Doug Rambo is here for project update.
Of course,
Sorry,
you
Doug.
have me following
I'm
up all
always-
kinds of fireworks all the time. I took some notes this time because Dr. Smith had to bail me out last time. So there is a lot of excitement on the site. I hope everybody comes by every here and again to see what's going on. I haven't had a few optimistic months, but this is one of them. So starting out with the .03 project, that's what Fanning Howey calls the field house. We put up the first piece of siding today, which is exciting because once we wrap the siding, the roof goes on, and we're really starting to look like something. So.
Is it still there?
Pardon me?
Is it still there?
Yeah, I did a little bit cursory walk. My flagpole got snapped in half. That was like I say, man, the cloud that follows me sometimes. That was the only thing I saw. So no, and all the portable restrooms are still standing, so that's always exciting. That never happens. So, so the sidings, and we're going to start working quite a bit of overtime. The PEMB contractor is from out of town, so he does work a lot of hours and then they'll go home for a long weekend. And we're catching some, once this weather's over, some real nice weather for the next. Well, it's going to be hot, but for the next few days. So there's going to be some big goings on as far as the building changes. So. People are taking a ride by. You'll be noticing a few things. So, onto your hats. Some things with HVAC has started. Trying to just stick to the high, non-boring parts. And the other exciting part would be the pilasters are starting. Carpenters are up in the air. They're putting up some of the steel stud areas where the that's going to be where the brick facade goes straight to the roof. So, like I say, just some different exciting things that we haven't seen yet. So, the other part of Point .03 is Central Elementary School, and the groundwork's ongoing. Fishback's been there a lot. That's actually a line. The surveyors, they're now called Fishback. So if you see their trucks around, they are just the surveyors setting all the control points and whatnot. And Brian Gardner just informed me that we have one more night of basketball, and we were able to keep access complete to CES the entire time for deliveries, emergency vehicles. There was basically no disturbance at all for the. So I was pretty excited to report that. Next project being the pool, and like I say, excitement again. The liner was completed today, so if anybody's taking a stroll through, if anybody wants to see it, it's a deep blue chasm with with black lines going through it. So hopefully very shortly we're going to start putting water in it, and some exciting tile work because for some reason they discontinued the tile that goes around the pool. So we're going to be saving some tile to use for some patchwork and make it look real slick when it's done. So hopefully right after moratorium week, people are going to be able to enjoy the pool. I'm going to have to be nicer to the Peterson guys. Those are some big dudes. They're going to throw me in if I'm not careful. So aside from that, the roofs are still looking good. The field, as we know, is complete, and we're still working on a few things for the PA system. There's some more exciting goings on there. We've had Fairchild in a few times. We're trying to get a bit of a better result for this football season. So they've been in once with a what they call their troubleshooter. He's an independent contractor, and he's going to be in one more time just to, I would say, to do a little bit more assessment and then button things up, all on warranty, of course, and hopefully have a much better product going into this football season. So we're opting for 7/10 to be a deadline there to see some real fireworks there. So, and another really great thing to say is another month accident-free, injury-free, everybody getting home safe and sound every night. So I can't speak higher of that. So there we go. Any questions?
Yeah, on the sound system,
Of course.
Okay,
Mhm.
I know like it was last summer when we first time we started doing it, there were some areas that were kind of hard to hear during the other the other things like cross country, for example. Are they tuning it for those sports?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the issue right now. It's to get all the bang for the buck. You know what I mean? And they're saying now, the buzzwords of some blown speakers or things like that. I would just say they're still troubleshooting, so we really don't want to get into any inflammatory language like that. But that's some of the stuff that was kicked around. So there are some deficiencies in the system right now that need to be stepped up. And Fairchild's on that right now. And like I say, hopefully it's a much different system. Of course, there's the difference between in the gym closed area versus an open stadium. The open stadium, but you should be able to hear that thing in Terre Haute. So
yeah, I mean, I know that primary use is probably going to be mostly football. The most people are going to hear it, but just from experience, we talked about it a little bit last year. We're over here and like new sound system and like, oh, something's going on over here. We didn't hear it. So we walk over there.
There's absolutely no reason not to hear it through, and especially I've only been part of two of the cross country, the big events that are on campus, and there is no reason for them not to be people to be blown out into the cornfield. So it should be working. There should be nothing short of good announcing going on there. So, and if it's not, we'll keep bashing on them until it is. So, anything else? Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Okay, so go ahead.
We are waiting for a speaker, so we're going to skip to item C, consideration of high.
And Matt's walking in right now, so there's no public comment, she said.
We don't have anyone.
And Matt's he's just walking in now, so we can start
We can wait 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do then, so we won't have to skip.
Should we all applaud when he walks in?
Is there something I can do to start?
Yeah, we can
Okay,
get
yeah.
started. Yeah, that's fine.
So the next item on the agenda is for the board to hold a hold a project hearing on the proposed project. If there's anyone interested in speaking at the hearing when that time comes, please make sure you've signed the sign-in sheet for the hearing, right? There were two different ones. Okay. So no one has signed up for that. So we'll start with the notice to say that the notice of this project hearing was published as legally required. And at this time, Stacy Barclay will explain the purpose of the hearing. Stacy?
All right, so we are holding this first project hearing. It is, of course, under the Indiana Code 2026-737. But before you guys can spend more than $1 million to build, repair, or alter a school building that's going to be financed by a lease or bonds, you have to hold this public hearing at which the explanations of the potential value of the project are given for the school corporation and the community. So, yeah, that's why we're here getting it started.
Okay.
It is the very beginning of the process.
Yes.
So I say we're getting started
Very
beginning.
Okay, so now Dr. Smith will explain the process of determining and communicating the project to the community and the need for the project.
So at our public work session back on April 9th, there were several infrastructure, safety, and deferred maintenance items that were mentioned at that work session. These bond funds will allow us to get in front of those needs at today's cost rather than waiting and getting significantly less done at a higher cost. So I prefer to be proactive in the infrastructure and then safety and the maintenance needs, and these funds will help us do that. It'll also help us enhance our facilities and the overall safety of the district as well. Additionally, many of these items will reduce our ongoing maintenance costs, and also not to mention there will be newer and higher efficiencies in several if we do like HVAC work, those types of things. So last but not least, it also puts us in a controlled, purposeful facilities plan moving forward. So all these other projects are done. That'll get us in the next line of keeping things up to date.
All right, now we'll hear from Matt Shoemaker from Steeple.
Grand entrance, great. Good job.
Perfect timing. Thank you.
Welcome.
Good evening. Do I need to use this? I assume I don't. Okay.
No.
For recording or something like that. Great to see you all again. Thank you for having me. So my role, as always, is to walk through what the debt payments look like, how these can fit in, and then the impact on the taxpayer, which is not going to be anything as part of this project. So first graph shows you where you guys are as we sit here today with your current outstanding bond obligations. Everything that's paid out of the debt service fund is shown on this page, color-coded by the bond issue. So you can see you have 21 bonds, 23 bonds, and then 2 bonds in 2024, stacked on top of each other to show the annual obligation, the annual payment made from debt service. 2025, you can see you're currently at about $3.5 million. That's scheduled to drop in 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. You can see it's definitely descending. That was done on purpose. It was done on purpose so that when you guys talk about the projects that we're talking about tonight, as we layer those on, we can do so without impacting that taxpayer. So as we look at the proposed project, we're looking at $6.6 million. Gray shows the existing debt service payments, which we just showed you on the previous page. Purple would be the payments resulting from this project. Obviously, none of this is set in stone yet. This is just an illustration of how this could be paid back. This looks at the property tax levy. The property tax levy is the amount of property tax dollars you're asking for from the taxpayer. We would keep that level moving forward as part of this project. currently show it being level in both 26 and 27. We haven't had that conversation yet. This is kind of us showing it as a first draft. Even under this scenario, though, you immediately drop in 28, 29, 30 again. We want to make sure that we're paying this back quickly enough that we can kind of limit the interest costs, but also not hamstring you for future projects, right? We want to make sure you keep that flexibility moving forward, that if you have additional projects in the future, which all schools will, we can finance those in the future in a way that we're kind of keeping that taxpayer whole or not seeing the taxpayer impact. So again, as part of this project, we're keeping that levy, the amount of dollars we're asking for steady so that the taxpayer is not going to feel that impact at all. In terms of the parameters that we need to disclose tonight, we're looking at the par amount of the bonds. This is a maximum number, so $6.6 million. Doesn't mean you have to borrow all of it. You just cannot exceed that number. We're looking at cost of issuance. This is conservatively high of $200,000. I would expect that number to be less, but these are worst case. That would leave proceeds available for the project at $6.4 million, the projects that Dr. Smith just talked about. The maximum tax rate impact. So this is listed at 42 cents per $100. I just said it's not going to impact the taxpayer. So the way the statute reads is we have to simply abide by the formula. So it takes the maximum payment in any 1 year and it just divides it by your current assessed value. Doesn't take into account some of your bonds paying off and those payments coming down. So I did want to mention that because a lot of times I'll stay up here and say, you know, tax neutral, we're not impacting the taxpayer, and then you see the maximum tax rate impact and those two things don't jive. That's purely because it's a formula and it totally disregards kind of those bond payments coming down. There at the bottom, the net impact to the debt service levy to what the taxpayers are paying as part of the debt service fund, we're just not going to see an impact the way this is going to be structured. So that's what I have for you. Apologize for being late. I got caught up in the storm right as I was getting ready to leave. Questions that I can answer for anyone?
I appreciate the work that, I'm not sure we all do, I appreciate the work that you go through to make sure that it's level or less, you know, so there's not an increase. I mean, everyone got that tax shock.
Yeah.
Last time they open a tax bill, their minds go to, oh, the school projects. Well, sometimes people don't realize that it wasn't the school that did that impact, right?
Right.
So we don't want to increase that stress on the taxpayers. And, you know, with that discussion.
Yeah, and that's all part of kind of the long-range planning that Dr. Smith and his team and all of us have been doing over the last few years. We always want to make sure when we do these projects that we're doing them the right way, obviously, but always with an eye to the future, and we're obviously continuing that with these as well.
And that you're comfortable with that buffer, you know, that long-term drop-off where there's still operating room there?
Exactly. We don't want to limit our possibilities down the road. But yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm asking, is that soon enough for us with your outlook?
Yes, this will get us in great shape, and that dip will be in a good timing down the road. These funds will get us in really good shape.
So it was 2027, is that what?
So we showed the levy being held constant in both 26 and 27. Again, that's just kind of me illustrating and showing it. You guys are going to make that decision. Dr. Smith's going to make that decision. So if you wanted to have more room in 2027, we certainly could bring that payment down. Or you might say, you know, we're just not doing anything until 2028. We can keep that up a little bit higher. So we're not making that decision anytime soon. We won't make that decision until these bonds are sold, and we're nowhere near that right now. So all of this, again, is completely fluid, and we'll have those conversations to make sure that we're doing exactly the way you guys want to do it when it comes time to sell these bonds.
What's the forecast on bond markets? Going out?
I wish I knew. It's day to day. I will say, you know,
business. So I thought, well, maybe
yeah,
you would know.
No, I have no clue. Anyone that tells you they know is lying. I will say that rates have held in fairly steady over the last couple months. We've certainly seen some turbulence over the last couple years. We're selling 20-year bonds at 4% right now, which historically is really good. The problem is we were selling them sub 2%, 3-4 years ago. So a lot of people were thinking, well, rates have doubled. They have, but we used to sell them at 6, 7, 8%. So historically speaking, still pretty good. I can't even tell you what they're going to be next week, let alone in a few months. There's a lot of headline risk right now, obviously with things that are going on globally. I do think that we're incentivized to keep the rates from going too high because that will really impact the economy. You've seen some of the political comments, obviously. So I think they'll probably somewhat hang in there, but we're kind of just doing this right now. So it's anybody's guess what they're going to be by the end of the year.
I don't know if it's because I've seen this more times now,
Yeah.
but this graph here, I don't know if you did it all the time. But it seems new to me, and it's easier for me to see.
Yes.
Anyway, I really appreciate it. Just the two different graphs.
Yeah, we've kind of transitioned more to the levy-based graphs where it used to be the tax rate, and now the tax rate with Senate Bill 1, like we just don't know what that tax rate's going to be. But the good thing now is, regardless of what the tax rate is, we're talking about dollars being paid by the taxpayer. So even if the tax rate goes up, it goes down, we're making sure that the taxpayer is paying the same as a part of these projects each and every year. So it makes things a little bit simpler when we get to show this graph. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all.
Okay, so no one else has jumped in there. So since there are no public speakers, I would just ask Stacy to summarize the project resolution again.
All right, so this is our first resolution of the bond issuance season, and this is, again, because you're planning to spend more than $1 million per building. This is going to contain the hard and soft construction costs and the costs of issuance, like our advisor just spoke of. It will establish the total project cost, talks about the estimated tax impact. Of course, these are the maximums. As Matt said, you can do less. This is just set up what's the ceiling, and then go from there.
Thank you. All right, so could I have a motion and a second to adopt? I'll make a motion to adopt the project resolution.
I'll second. Really, Joe, you already got it. I'll second.
Holly made the motion to accept the project resolution. Lee seconded that. All those in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. Okay. Next is consideration of liability handbook. Is it okay if I just go ahead? We had the first reading last month, and there were some suggestions made, and so adjustments were made, and tonight we are seeking approval of the liability handbook as presented in our board packet. Just waiting for a motion and a second. If you guys are ready to do that, or there's other questions you have.
Move to approve the liability handbook. I'll second.
We've made the motion to approve the liability handbook. Lee seconded that. All those in favor? And item D, consideration of the elementary handbook update.
Yeah, it would be a consistent theme on all these handbook updates. Had a first reading last month, made the suggestions and updates. Those are in your board packets, just needing that approval tonight.
I move to approve the elementary handbook.
I'll second.
Motion to approve the elementary handbook. Joe seconded that. All those in favor? Item E, consideration of middle school, high school handbook updates.
Same thing, the changes that were made from the first reading are in your board packets. It's ready for approval.
Joe made the motion to approve the middle school, high school handbook. Wade seconded that. All those in favor? Consideration of athletic handbook updates.
Same story, different item. Just looking for that approval on that athletic handbook after our first reading.
Second.
Joe made the motion to approve the athletic handbook. Seconded that. All those in favor? Motion carries. I would like to personally thank all our administrators who work really hard to make sure it's all up to date after sitting through that law seminar. I am always so thankful. I am not the one that has to do that. So anyway, I appreciate you guys for that. All right, so item G, which was changed, is now Toshiba lease agreement.
Yeah, so I do apologize for the short notice on this. We just received this final information this afternoon, working with the Toshiba representatives over the last few weeks. Our current leases are about to expire on our copying machines and throughout the district. They're 5 years old now, so they're in need of upgrade, obviously. So additionally, as I spoke before, we're looking to go more digital and get away from paper as much as we possibly can, especially on the administrative side. And so, and I've talked to this before, but Lindsay Typin in our office has now purged over 600 file boxes from the basement in the admin building. So, yeah, so it's time to go digital, right? So good news is the cost is actually less than what we're already paying, but that digital capacity and all that capability is built into that price too. So it's actually, we're getting more for what we're paying for now. And so it's a cost savings of like $4, but hey, it's less money than what we're paying now, and we're getting more for it. And they're 5 years newer. So I'm just looking for approval so we can move forward and get these machines in before the start of school.
Is that possible?
That's what they told me today, that if we get it going, then we could be really close to get it going.
I know there's urgency, and I'm just asking just to make sure we thought about, and I'm assuming that the building principals, with the exception of Mr. Keith, have had opportunity to buy into what their needs are, and this all is.
When we have our meetings, that's one thing about these Toshiba machines. We've had zero complaints that I've got. When I came in, the board had just ditch the Xerox machines, and because they had all kinds of issues.
It was a big thing.
Yeah. It was a big thing, yeah. And I've had like zero complaints from the Toshiba machines, and so yeah. I mean, I didn't ask their feedback on it. I just knew that we had no complaints, and at least it got to me. I mean, I'm sure I'm not there with a paper gets stuck or whatever. You know what I mean? But I compared to what we had, they said these are great machines, and we've had nothing but.
Yeah, it was night and day. They've been great. We've not had any problems at all. I mean, we have something go down and we make a phone call and the technician comes out and it's right back to working. So they've been good.
Same at our office. So.
Okay, motion. Joe made the motion to approve the new Toshiba copier lease. Wade, you seconded that, right? Wade seconded that. All those in favor? Item H, consideration of administrator contracts.
Yeah, in your packets you have the proposal for the administrative contracts and the accompanying compensation. There were some adjustments based on assignments and on recent completed employee evaluations. Therefore, we seek approval of these contracts and the accompanying compensation package.
I move to approve the administrator contracts.
Second.
You made the motion to approve the administrator contracts. Wade seconded that. All those in favor? Motion carries. Consideration of superintendent evaluation and salary increase. As you know, we completed our required by law evaluation of Dr. Smith, and that came out to be highly effective. And so because of that, we are increasing, we are considering, I guess, increasing his salary to be the same percent as he negotiates for our teachers. So I've spoken to Dr. Penrod, and he knows that this is what the compensation package, I guess, looks like, and he will be working with us or whoever, or Aaron, I guess, to figure out what that is. So once we get the teacher contracts negotiated, so it'll be retroactive to July 1st, whenever it comes through. Okay. So we need a motion and a second to approve that.
To approve the superintendent evaluation and salary increase.
I'll second.
Holly made the motion to approve superintendent evaluation and salary increase. Seconded that. All those in favor? Item J, consideration of administration building bids.
Yeah, on May 28th, we received multiple bids for our proposed new administration building. Since then, a couple of you were there at that meeting. Since then, we've been vetting the bids and contemplating their impact on the district's overall financial structure. We worked with the MKS and Dr. Penrod to see what was feasible and appropriate moving forward. Therefore, at this time, we are comfortable in recommending that we do not accept the administrative building bids. This will allow us to look for alternative ways to save resources and reconfigure the options for a new administration building at a later time. And I can open this up for Dr. Penrod if he has any comments to that as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. The process kind of seems to fall in the past. The single prime bidder. Just sometimes that happens on bid day. I've been a part of that a few times, and just doesn't come in quite where you think it's going to come in. I think the estimates all along were good, but we also kind of had in our back pocket that there were some things that were maybe looking like they were going to change and drop that price, and then they ended up not changing. And so, just kind of one of the things, I guess, those laws are put in place to protect the taxpayer, and certainly did a good job of it here, but it does slow the process down a little bit because it was just higher than what was acceptable.
Jenny, do you have questions or for Dr. Penrod? Comments, concerns, or anything? Okay. All right. Well,
What's our next step when we turn this in?
So we'll have to look at redesign, movement, look at all the options actually. I have ideas. We can talk on Friday at our meeting.
basically, we're starting over and just using whatever we can from
what was designed. We can use what we can from that and then move from there. And so I have ideas.
Okay, so we need a motion.
I move to not accept the administrative building.
Holly made the motion not to accept the administration building bids. Wade seconded that. All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, so superintendent's report.
I'll keep it short tonight. It's a busy summer. The summer has been very, very productive around our campuses. We had got a lot of things done. Hired some great people. Looking forward to a great start to the school year. So that's been good, but it's been very busy. Construction, everything else. But yeah, it's been a good summer so far. I can't believe it's almost the end of June already. It's just crazy. We have exciting professional development trip with our admin team and teachers this upcoming week. That's going to be in St. Louis. It's a PLC conference. It's a great time. We had learned a lot last year and and we brought a bigger team this year with some teachers, and so looking to build that excitement with our PLCs and our collaborative learning capacity throughout the district. Another note is we have next board meeting. We should be meeting in that part of the building, which is right back there. We're completely reconfiguring that for board meetings for the live streaming. We have live streaming now there, but it'll be the newer state-of-the-art live streaming starting next month. So that area will be all configured. We'll have new screens. There's 4 new screens back there. It's going to be a nice meeting space. So that will happen next in July. Will be our first meeting in that space. And then last but not least, if you arrived after 5:30, you see our brand new trip bus that we've been waiting for about 5 months because we were supposed to get them in January. But hey, it is the season, right? But very excited that we have those now for our trip buses, for our teams, and for our field trips and all types of things for our students to arrive comfortably, also be able to do things on the bus. There's power on the bus. There's all types of things. But Mr. Ogborn has done a fantastic job coordinating all of that. There is another bus as well. That one is not here because that one has been asked to be on display at the Indiana Transportation Association Convention. Am I close?
Yes.
Next week in Fort Wayne. So the manufacturer actually requested to display our bus at the convention for all the transportation folks in the state. So
A small discount, right?
right. We were informed today, though, if you were to buy that bus today, it was going to be at least $40,000 more if you bought it today than when we bought it. So. And he said that's as of now. He's like, with some of these tariffs hit and so forth, he said it could have been $60,000, $70,000 more than what we spent. So, kudos to you for seeing the vision and seeing that.
Could have bought a third one.
But they're very nice. I'm sure Mr. Ockborn will give a tour after the meeting. Yes? Okay. Yeah, the insides are great, too. The outside's really nice. The insides are great. It'll be great for trips, all the air conditioning. And like I said, there's USB plugs and everything, so that gets to do work, homework, whatever on trips. So very exciting for that. So that's all I have for tonight. There's a lot of exciting things happening, and got to showcase one of them. It got delivered today, by the way, so that just popped on about 9:30. So very excited.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next regular meeting is July 16th over there. And don't forget our board retreat, which is on Friday. And it has been changed to the admin building rather than here. Friday, 8:30. Breakfast at 8:15.
Breakfast
At the admin building. The old admin building.
Is breakfast catered by Lisa?
Yes. Yes.
I'll be there.
Okay. All right, so if there's nothing else, we will adjourn. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thanks, Dr. Penrod.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Yep, you too.
Okay.